Friends, this is NJ, your host on this channel. So we will continue our discussion on the sunline. A quick recap of all what we have studied so far. What does sunline represent? Sunline tells about your artistic and creative abilities. Sunline tells about your personal magnetism. You know, the kind of potential you have to attract name, fame, recognition, and good opportunities, good friends into your life. This line also tells about your brilliance. So like the way all those people who get recognized for all of their good work, who are seen as a perfectionist, are also seen from the condition of the sunline. Sunline also tells about the kind of contentment and satisfaction you have for your life. So this is all are the signification of the sunline, which we have studied in the past video. Now this line also carries a great significance because this line acts as a saving grace for any of the defects present on the line of the Saturn. Like the way we have discussed this thing at the time when we were discussing the line of Saturn in detail, that the line of Saturn tells about your material prospect. This line also tells about the most productive and harvesting years of your life. So any point of time, wheresoever you will find defect on this line of Saturn, and at the same age, at the same time, there is a presence of an immaculate line of Sun. So this is just going to preserve the signification of the line of Saturn. You need to understand that this line is very important because this line tells about your success quotient. So any student who's going through some entrance and competitive examination, a businessman going through some very stringent business deal, or let's say someone who's going through some litigation, so what would remain to be the outcome? Along with that, this line of Saturn, the fate line, tells about our efforts and endeavors indulged in this life, and the sunline act as a result of all those efforts. So this is the kind of significance which this line of Sun holds. And when it comes to why I am saying this thing repeatedly, that these two lines are seen in conjunction, because you need to understand that what all are the chief traits of the line of Saturn or the planet Saturn. Planet Saturn represents wisdom, hard work. This tells about your work ethics. But the flaw with the Saturnian is that along with being late bloomers, these people would remain to be very lonely. So might be the case remains that these people are like working hard, but their hard work is not getting the due recognition. This is not coming into the light of the public. And who are the Apollonians people, the typical Sun people? These people are like extrovert, these people are cheerful, these people are like go-getters. They know how to how to make friends, how to get the reputation. But these people are like also have a flaw of being too risk taker, they also possess even the gambling tendencies. Gambling is not something with the money or casino. Even all those people who invest very foolhardily in the business, also seen from the Apollonian archetype only. So a proper combination of the line of Saturn and the Sun line would just make this person bit cheerful, just make his work come into the light, and the line of Saturn would put a guard on the two outgoing qualities of the line of Sun. So this is the kind of significance which these two line holds. Now coming to the topic in discussion, which is about the defects, studying the defects on the sun line. You need to understand that when it comes to the sun line, defects pose a very big hurdle, because here the threat is straight onto your public image. So you need to understand what would remain to be the significance when you will find these kind of different defects present on the sun line. So the very first defect is when you will find the presence of a crossbar on the line of Sun. So this is a crossbar. So the crossbar represents obstruction. So like the way I have been saying this thing repeatedly in all of my videos, whenever it comes to checking the state of the defects on the lines, the first thing which you need to understand and look at is which is more deeper, whether the defect is deeper or dark, or whether the line is more strong or more deeper. What would happen is if the defect would remain to be light, so that would just act as an annoyance, frustration. But let's say if this mark or this defect is deeper, then that would remain to be a matter of worry. That's the one way to look at it. Second is, what is the condition of the line once that sign has spotted? So whether the line has improved or has got completely vanished. So this is this is something which you also need to look at. Now coming to this, the signification which we can expect if you'll find this kind of defect on the sun line is that this just acts some kind of troubles or hurdles. So let's say for a student, this might be some kind of not getting proper time to study, or even coming on the verge of clearing his exam and getting flunked. For a businessman, this could be a threat of competition, his product getting out of the fashion. And this line also holds a very special significance, this defect of crossbar, is because many times what I have seen in my research, and many palmists have also agreed on this, that whensoever you will find this is our sun line. So wheresoever you will find this kind of line coming from the outer mount of the Mars and acting as a long crossbar and cutting it, so this would just even act as a sign of someone getting entangled in some kind of corruption charges or becoming a a victim of office politics. What makes me say that? Because like the way I have explained this thing at the time when we were discussing mounts, that this is the mount of Jupiter, which tells about the place of your ancestors, the Pitrasthan. This is the Matrasthan, the mount of Saturn, which tells about your mother. Same ways, this is the Bhatristan, the mount of the Venus, which tells about your family. This is the Dharmsthan, this is the place of religion, the mount of the moon. Same ways, this plane of Mars is known as the Shatrusthan, what has been written in our Has Samudik Shastra. So what happens is, any point of time you will find this kind of line coming and cutting the sun line. So this just poses this kind of difficulties and vulnerability in someone's office life. And because this, along with the account of past life deeds and the mental strength, this also act as, this whole plane of Mars also act as a place of our enemies. So this is how we can see that. And last is, any point of time, and the most intense of the threat is, you will find the sunline to be ending on a crossbar. Because what will happen is, because in sunline, this is the toddler childhood, this is the youth, and this is the old age. So many times what happen is, this line is chiefly associated with your reputation. So all those people who work whole of their life and get their due promotion at the prescribed time and the prescribed stages of the life, and they are just awaiting for the biggest title at the time of their retirement or at the time when they have reached the peak of their career. So this sun line ending on a crossbar could just make and erupt those kind of circumstances when the person, those title and those envied and coveted opportunities would slip from a person's hand. So this is how crossbar can be decoded as. Second is, any point of time you will find the breaks on the sunline. So like the way the archetype quality of the break is, that break represents changes. So any point of time you will find the line of sun with breaks. So this would just indicate same thing only. So this is our sunline and in a break kind of formation. So the only thing which you need to look at is, first of all, that when there is a break, whether this break is being self kind of repaired, overlapped, or there is a distance. So this would remain to be changed in a lifestyle. This might remain to be a case like the way it happens with the majority of the celebrities, that no matter their line of, like the way David Beckham or Jennifer Lopez, they are one is singer, one is athlete, a footballer, but still they one have their own clothing range and a fashion style range. So same ways, this might remain to be a change in the lifestyle, but the time where there is a gap, when there is no overlap is taking place, so that might remain to be a case, that might remain to be a time when the person's talent and recognition is remaining very dormant. All those times when you kind of being an artist, you feel that this is not the right time to launch your label and it's better you should wait for the right time to come. So those remain to be those times. And along with that, if you'll find the line of sun to be in a ladder kind of formation, so this would just tell about too much of distraction. This also just tells about someone not being a perfectionist in his chosen field, rather than being a pretentious person who is just, even in terms of the art, he would just pretend himself to be an art curator, an art lover, or an art savant, rather than being a natural artist. So this is how this kind of combination breaks can be decoded as. Next in the series is, if you'll find the sunline to be in an island kind of formation. So many times what has been written, see, this is the kind of island which I am talking about. The archetype quality associated with the island is that it represents decrease in the power, loss of energy. So what the majority of the books have written about this is that this just indicate loss of money, loss of reputation. But what I have found in my own research is, this just tells about a discontented state of mind, someone who is lacking peace of the mind at this age wheresoever this island has been spotted. So that might be the case, that because of the loss of the money, the person is in a very kind of in a very bad state of the mind, where he is not getting any kind of peace, or whether his art and creativity has taken a jolt. So whatsoever the signification is, an island on the sunline is not a negative, is a very negative sign. This just tells about a very negative state of the mind, because you need to understand that there remain to be those times when so much avalanche of problem comes into our life, but we remain rigid. And there remain to be those times when even the smaller problem completely moves us. So that might be those times when the person will get completely moved by the adversities of the life. Next in the series is, when you will find on the sunline the presence of the dots, mole, till are not considered as good anywhere. Wheresoever you will find these kind of dots present on the sunline, this would just make, this is the very first sign in the series which just tells about vulnerability to your reputation. This just indicate someone gossiping against you. This also indicate some kind of scandal, getting entangled into some kind of corruption. So defamation and scandal is the one thing which should come to your mind whensoever you have spotted this kind of dot, mole or till on the sun line. Next is whenever you will find the symbol of this X bar present on the sun line. X bar represents obstruction. Along with that, this also indicate accidents, possibility of the accidents. So like the way sun line and the Apollo represents the physical organ heart as well as your eyes. So just to confirm the indication, you need to first at the same age, you need to age the lines, and at that age you need to first check the condition of the lifeline. That's the one thing. Second thing is you need to check the condition of the heart line, because if there will be any negative sign present under the ring finger on the heart line, so that would also confirm the possibility of some kind of heart or eye related problem. Next in the series is the repair signs. So what do I mean by repair signs? So like the way you people know that the first sign is the symbol of square. The archetype quality associated with the symbol square is it is a sign of preservation. It is a very healing sign. So no matter how much strong affliction you have on your sun line in the form of till, in the form of X bar, but let's say if it is being protected by this kind of square symbol, so this would just indicate that the energy is being preserved. So a symbol of square is the best sign of protection or preservation for any individual to have. Next is any point of time you will find the spotting of the sister lines. So let's say there is a defect, but this is being covered by a presence of a sister line. So this would just act as a saving grace. It just indicate that the energy is not getting dissipated, energy of the line is not getting obstructed or lost. It is being preserved by the presence of this sister line. That might remain to be a situation in case when those people who have their multiple business ventures, where one business has faced the heavy losses, but the another venture has faced some kind of profit or some return on investment, where the person has got salvated from that problem. And that even might be the case with those people, like the way I was giving the example of the Jennifer Lopez and the David Beckham, that these people have so many multiple line of business interest, that even the loss in one kind of venture would not hit them too badly. So that is the case with the sister line. Next in the series is the presence of a connecting line. So connecting line is something like this. So this is your sun line, something like this. It is getting break, but there is a presence of this kind of line here. So this would just indicate that the energy in the circuit is not getting lost. It is being preserved by the presence of this connecting line. So this is with the connecting line. Next in the series is the self-repeat break. So we have already understood it. Self-repeat break is when there is an overlap of the line which is taking place. So this kind of combination, this kind of overlap is just preserving the energy. Energy is not getting lost. This just indicate change in the lifestyle, change in the person's line of occupation, line of interest, and even there might be a shift in the person's public image. So even those people like the way on and off we keep on getting those kind of news, that there was a celebrity singer who suddenly became religious, who suddenly became a nun, who suddenly embraced the spiritual vow. So those remain to be the cases, that the image and reputation is high, but just the way it has been perceived in the market, in the world, has got changed. So that might be the case with the self-repeat break. And last in the series is the best combination, the best signs, which are the star and triangle, which you and like everyone should envy to have on their sun line. So the symbol of star present on the sun line just tell about brilliance. So the only difference which would come is where it has been spotted. So let's say this is the line of sun, this is the line of sun. Let's say this star has been spotted at the beginning, at the end, at the termination of the sun line, or at the beginning of the sun line. So this would just indicate brilliance, good mental qualities, ability to have name, fame, recognition. Wherever this person is getting the the kind of attention and recognition, he's automatically getting opportunities by himself coming to him. So that might be the case. This remain to be a lifelong effect if you'll find this kind of star present either at the termination or at the origin of the sun line. But let's say if you'll find this kind of star at the midpoint, somewhere on the sun line, then this would just indicate that age, you need to age the line, and that period of the time would remain to be a time when this person will be aided and in the form of some very some windfall of gain, some sudden gain of reputation, very high image, a windfall gain, all that can be seen from the presence of the star at this particular age. And like the way I have been saying this thing about all these signs, so the only difference is why I have written repair signs and the strengthening agent. So the only thing which I mean to say is that, let's say here your line has got some kind of affliction in the form of a dot, but there is a sign of square on it. So square is acting as a repair sign, but this has been formed in the unafflicted region of the sun line. So this would just act as a strengthening agent to this line. So this is what happens with the strengthening agents. So we have discussed the symbol of star, which act as a special strengthening agent. Now next in the series is, any point of time you will just find the symbol of triangle anywhere on the sun line. So you need to understand the archetype qualities of the symbol triangle. What does it represent? Triangle in any case represents mental qualities, intelligence. So what will happen is, even at the time when the opportunities and the circumstances of the life are posing a threat to a person, but let's say at the same time the person has a symbol of triangle present over there on those situations. So this will just act as a situation where the person will use a sane bent of his mind in order to put a guard on all those situations. So like the way we have discussed that, what will happen if you will spot the symbol of the defective dot anywhere on the sun line. So let's say something like this, you have spotted this dot, and over this you have spotted this symbol of triangle. So what would happen is that this would just act as a time when the person will not get bogged down by any kind of the any kind of the gossips, or any kind of the backstabbing, any kind of the backbiting made against his work or against this person, any kind of the plots which has been plotted by his fellow colleagues in order to malign his image, so that this person, just because of his intelligence, will not fall prey to all those kind of situation. And let's say if this sign is found on a state on the line where the line is already very clear and immaculate. So let's say when we have discussed the situation, when we have spotted this triangle on a defective region, it has acted as a repair sign. And let's say if this triangle has spotted on the region where the line is already unafflicted, so this would just act as a time when this person will make best use of his intelligence. So if the person would be associated with any of the artistic or creative realm, so that might remain to be a time when the person will create best of his work, self-control, good creative abilities, and making good use of his judgment, and even his business acumen. All that will be in a best way and efficiently used by the subject. So this is how analysis is done. In a nutshell, the symbol of star and triangle are the best and the most envied sign for someone to have on his sun line. So I hope I made myself very clear in this video. For further more updates and notification on palmistry, please subscribe my channel and like my Facebook page. Thanks.